We're about to get started here on the Saturday mastermind call. We'll be on for about maybe an hour or maybe less, depending on if we have any questions. If you're joining today, let me know where you're from and if you're a shop owner, collision shop owner, or if you have a business in the automotive industry, whether it be a detail shop, automotive shop, uh, custom shop, or paint and body shop. Before we get started, my name is Stan Medina. I'm located here in Texas and started in the automotive industry when I was 16 years old and started off as a porter, learned how to do body work, learned how to paint, uh, learned how to do custom painting. And at one point, I was one of the top painters here in Texas for customizing. Uh, the work got real demanding and I won a lot of awards and I kind of asked myself, like, what's the next, what do I want to do next? Because I was still kind of young. And so the topic of business really caught my interest on how to grow a business, how to help people get out of maybe, low income or people that have, got in trouble with when they're younger. How do we help them? How do I introduce them to the automotive industry? Um, to help them make a difference in their life, right? Because the collision industry, the paint and body industry, the custom industry has given me a lot of blessings. So if I'm able to share that information with y'all, I'm gonna do that. So let's get started. Okay, let me know where y'all joining from, and we'll get started here. Let me see if I can post some of my notes here. Maybe I can add them to the. Maybe I can add them to the screen. Let's see if it'll let me do it on whiteboard. Never used whiteboard before, but let's give it a shot. I don't think it's gonna let me. Maybe we might be. Oh yeah, look, there it is. Sweet. All right, guys. So we're gonna start off. Hopefully, y'all can if you're watching on YouTube, you can actually I'm sharing my screen, and so you can actually see what the screen has on it. Let me double check here. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna talk about is so basically a lot of the information that I share is on how to grow your current business or how to start a business or some of the things that you're struggling with. I see we got someone from California here. Uh, a lot of things it depends what you're trying to do with your shop. I know one of the things that I struggled with early on was really identifying what we specialized in because just like a lot of shop owners that open up, they start off and they want to do everything. They want to do they want to do whatever job comes in, and a lot of times, you know, what happens is it kind of makes their business all over the place because they're not focused on one type of service, right? So let me move this out of the way. So important market research, what that is like identifying who your targeted customer is going to be. And what I mean by that is like, okay, are you going to focus on, uh, lower end customers, middle class customers, or high end customers, right? You got to figure out who you're going to focus on because look, most shops that I talk to, they want to start getting more insurance claims. They want to start, doing bigger jobs. They want to start dealing with customers that are less hassle. And but if you look at the way those customers shop and what they expect versus what you're offering them, it doesn't line up. And so what I mean by that is like if your business, if your location is not, uh it doesn't come off as professional or it's not clean, it doesn't look organized, you're not really going to be able to attract those better customers. Because think about it, like if you're attracting a customer that has a full-time job and that has kids, and you want to get those insurance claims, you better have a good way of communicating with them. You better have a system of how you're gonna, schedule the jobs in. How, you want to have something because they don't have time to be waiting. They need to get back on they need to get back to their lives. And so if you can help ease that process, they're gonna want to do business with you. That's how it really works. So the first thing we're talking about is market research, right? And so this is something that I failed to do early on. I failed to do any market research when I started my company because because I was just trying to get going. And because of that, I was doing a bunch of different jobs that required a bunch of specialty maybe knowledge or tools. And so what it was stretching me thin on a lot of different jobs. For example, we'll do like a let's say I was doing custom work, then I was doing, maybe flood damage, maybe some insurance claims, maybe some motorcycles, maybe someone wanted to paint a boat, maybe someone wanted to do restoration work, and we're doing all these different jobs, and we were capable of doing them. The thing was is we weren't trying to specialize in one thing. And so because we weren't specializing in one thing, we were kind of all over the place. Think about it at like a restaurant, right? Think about a restaurant that that they sell hamburgers, but because someone on the menu asked if they sell fish, they start selling fish now. Okay. If someone on the menu asks, hey, do y'all sell sushi? They just start selling sushi because they think that's what the customers want. Right. Well, that is what the customers want, but that's not your niche of business. And so because of that, you're gonna be all over the place. So the point I'm trying to make here is like if you're gonna focus on minor repairs, stick to minor repairs. If you're gonna focus on restoration work, then do restoration work. Figure out how to have a system for restoration work. If you're gonna do you know, affordable paint jobs, then that's your business model. Do affordable paint jobs. A good example is is Mako. Mako, they do affordable paint jobs, and that's their business model. And if you don't think you don't think of Mako as like a collision specialist, you think of it as like, hey, I need to get this car painted and I need it done cheap. Who can I probably take it to? And you're gonna probably go to Mako, right? And you already know what to expect because you're not really wanting to pay a lot. You understand? So identifying market research, also too, like you got to figure out what location you want to be at. I think we're gonna talk about location in number three, but market research is really looking at who your customers are, looking at who your competitors are, and figuring out where the industry is going. Figuring out if it's gonna be too expensive to stay in that industry for the long run. Does it require? Does it always inquire? I mean, does it acquire? I mean, does it require uh, a bunch of specialty tools that you need to keep buying, you know, every 2 to 3 years? So you have to look at that and see if it makes sense. Okay. The other one is, let me turn on the chat on our the next one is develop a business plan, right? So the business plan is a detailed plan that outlines your business goals, strategies, financial projections, and how you plan to differentiate yourself from the marketplace. How do you plan to be different? What makes you different in the marketplace, and why should I choose you, right? That's one thing. Why should I choose you? What makes you different in the marketplace? What are you doing different that no one else is doing? And and the way you kind of look at this is to say, okay, you know what? How is my business going to be different from the guy down the street, right? And so it can be a varies of different things. It can be on how you brand yourself. It can be on how your engagement is with the community. It can be a bunch of different things. So how do you want to make your business different from everybody else? Why should we go to you versus everybody else? So look, if you could think of this, think of this as think of it this way, right? So um don't think of your business as a transaction. Think of it as transformational. How can you make your business uh transformational to someone's life? How can you make it so unique that they say, man, like this place was pretty cool. Like it was pretty unique. It was something different. I didn't expect that. And they made an impression that made, they made it valuable, right? They made a valuable experience. And so if you think about it, like if you go to like a fancy restaurant or if you go to a fancy hotel, uh you're the room that like the stuff in the room is the same. Like it's not anything like crazy, right? But what you're paying for is you're paying for the experience. So the experience is always going to be what people are going to pay for. And if you can make it transformational, that's going to be even better. Okay, so the next one is any legal requirements or certifications that might be needed, right? So depending on what kind of jobs you're going to do you need any special permits? What state are you in? Does the state require certain things, regulations? I mean, of course, you're gonna need a business license. You're gonna need a tax ID number. Maybe if you're gonna be an LLC, you gotta get the LLC set up. So all these things are very important. And I'm just kind of giving you the kind of some 5 things that are kind of key things that are important to getting yourself going. So for sure, you're gonna probably need an LLC. You're gonna need a tax ID number. Okay. The LLC you can get that. The LLC is to protect your assets. Okay. The tax ID number is so that you can form those accounts with other vendors to buy the parts. So you got to be able to buy the parts. You got to be able to buy the material at cost. Okay. And the sales tax ID number is going to help you do that. The EIN number, that's going to be your federal number for your income tax. That's different. But any certifications, like I know with the automotive collision industry, like you can be ICAR certified, or if you're a mechanic, I think it's SE certified. So there's a bunch of different certificates that you can get. One thing that I would suggest is if you're independent shop, look into taking some ICAR classes online, just to further your education, and just to kind of get uh just some refreshment knowledge. You don't want to be in your industry and not educating yourself on the changes in the industry, or what's going on, what's growing, what trends are going on. You want to be educating yourself on the industry to know that you're on top of what you're selling, what you're offering. Okay, the third one is going to be location and your facility setup. So like I said earlier, like you got to figure out who's my targeted client, right? Okay. Then you got to figure out, okay, if I want that kind of customer, uh does the location kind of fit that customer? And you can't expect to get, you know, high-end customers if you're located like in a bad part of town. Okay. And the mistake that I made probably when I was younger was I found the cheapest shop on a bad side of town. Uh and I expected to try to get work from the other side of town, which was not gonna happen because we were already like in a high, you know, bad neighborhood. And so think about it. I was comfortable in the neighborhood because I was there all the time, and that's where our first business was located. But for someone that's not familiar with that area, they're not going to feel comfortable going to that area. So so you have to keep that in mind, okay? Um, Also too, like the size of the place. You want to make sure that the place is safe. You want to make sure that, you know, are you going to need security? Because if you're planning to have some high-end vehicles there, you want to make sure that place is safe. You don't want to just have people's car like being broken into and stuff like that. The next one is okay, securing startup capital, right? So most automotive shops and most collision shops are going to be hard to get loans from because they're high risk, they're high risk businesses. And what I mean by that is like uh, most of the time the owner is the technician, and so that it makes the business real risky because banks here you go, Drake. Banks don't really like that. They don't really like the they don't really like the owner to have to be doing all the work because it's a high risk, because if something happens to the owner, then the business is probably gonna fail. So so how do you go around doing that, right? So the one way you can do that is you can start to work on your personal credit. Start to work on your personal credit so you can leverage that credit if you need to for business credit cards. Because if you work on your credit and you get your EIN number, that's the business, not like the business setup. EIN number is basically like a social security card for your business. It's a social security number for your business. That's all it is. It's a social security number for your business. So if you have that social security number, the EIN number, you can start to apply for business credit. Okay. You can start to apply for business credit if you need that for working capital. But also, one thing you can also do is you can also work with different vendors, and they offer credit lines. They offer credit lines, and also if you figure out what uh what insurance you're gonna go after, most insurance will pay you pretty quick. Most of those insurance companies they'll pay you pretty quick. So so that's also an advantage, right? So look, let me see. Securing capital, I mean, there's a bunch of different things you can do. You can start off, like I said, by building your personal credit, leveraging that personal credit to get business credit. Okay, if you need it, but like I said, most vendors will open a line of credit for you, 30-day net. Okay, 30-day net means you have to pay them back in 30 days. But if you target the right insurance companies, they pay you pretty quick. They'll pay you like within the first time they look at the vehicle. So so there's ways to get started with very little income, with very little money startup. Okay. The next one is gonna be uh budget management. You know, it's important to effective budget, control cost, uh forecasting expenses, setting up realistic price strategies. So the budget part of that, you know, there's a good book called Profit First. I would probably recommend you reading Profit first to get an understanding on how to budget that. Number 5 is going to be marketing and customer service, building a brand, uh, excellence in customer service. So building the brand is going to be something I talk about a lot, and I think that's going to be very important because see if you think about it, like if you take some time and look at most repair businesses like automotive, tire shops, or even some body shops, right? A lot of them are not branded. Like they might have like their their name on there, like Joe's Paint and Body or whatever. It's not a real, it's not a, they're not establishing a brand. And so because they're not establishing a brand, it's going to be harder to scale that business. Okay. So branding is going to be very important. And I talk a lot about that, about building the brand with people that want to do like a DRP, a direct repair with insurance companies. Most people that want to do DRP, they don't see the importance in building a brand. But if you build a brand and you have a brand that people recognize in the community, now you can leverage that to get better deals with the DRP if you choose to go that route. Okay. We're not a DRP shop, we're independent shop, but we have other avenues that we do work for. And I could probably share those with you with on a one-on-one call, or if you're in our alliance group. Like I said, building the personal brand is going to be key. Getting a right logo set up. You can use Fiverr for the logo setup. Maybe like an online presence. Maybe build a quick website on GoDaddy, a landing page, something to give you an online presence. It's going to be very important because when people search your business, make sure you're online somewhere. Make sure they have something to go look at your business. Maybe a Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, uh, TikTok. Make sure that you have an online presence so that if they go to search for your business, they can find it. Okay. That's going to be very important. Customer service, like I talked about earlier, make sure that you can create transformational experience and really collect the data on those customers, right? So a lot of times, a lot of business owners, they don't collect the data. They're not finding, they're not getting emails, they're not getting phone numbers, they're not getting this information to follow up with the customers later, maybe to invite them to something, maybe a customer appreciation. Find a way to gather that data. One thing that we do is like whenever we create a new invoice on QuickBooks, that data actually gets entered into MailChimp. And so at every customer that we interact with, we're getting their email, their phone number, their name, and we have a database. And so the thing is, like, once you start to build that database, you can use it for customer appreciation events, maybe some kind of uh, holiday email or something. You don't want to spam it. You want to protect it, and you want to make sure that you're using it the right way. Okay. So that's pretty much it for the top 5 things that I wanted to talk about today. If you have any questions, you can DM me on Instagram. I will reply back. Also, too, if you're looking to go a step further and he says, "Hey, man, like I really want to take my business to the next level. I've been, a sole proprietor all these years, or I've been a solopreneur where you're trying to do everything by yourself. You don't have no systems in place. You're still doing all the work yourself, and you're getting burnt out. Maybe you're having to do the body work, the paint. Maybe you can't find no reliable help. Maybe you just can't get your money right. Maybe it's just like your branding. You don't know how to start the brand. Maybe you're not good with social media. Maybe you're not good with websites. Maybe you're not good with uh, just getting the legal stuff set up. Maybe you're like, man, I need to get my LLC set up, but I don't even know where to start. It seems overwhelming. How do I get the bank set up? Like, there's so much things I want to do, but I'm not sure where to start. And that's gonna be typical for uh most business owners that are technicians. They've been technicians for 20 years, maybe 10 years, 15 years, and they're looking to grow that business, but they feel stuck because that now they're going through this. It's an informational gap. That they know they can do it, but they don't have the information to like on what to do, or they don't know who to help them get the information. And so one thing that I can really, if I can leave you with something here, it's going to be Dan Sullivan is one of my mentors, and he has a great concept, and he has a great book called Who Not How. And basically, he shares that in order to go to that next level, in order to, in order to stop wasting time, uh, in order to stop thinking, I would say it's a poor man's thinking in a way, because I suffered from this for a long time. Every time something came up that it was an obstacle, or it was something I need to learn, or it was something that I need to do, uh, I would always ask myself, how am I going to do this? How can I do this, right? Well, Dan's concept is very powerful because it gives you the chance to ask the question differently to yourself. And the question is, instead of asking, how do I do this? You ask, who can do this for me? Who can help me do this? And so what it does, it opens you up to so much more opportunity. And it opens you up to so much more of other people's knowledge that you can tap into. So I mean, I encourage y'all to really maybe start asking yourself that question, right? Who can help me get the LLC? Who can help me with branding? Who can help me uh you know get find the right location? Who can help me with these hiring with these techs? Who can help me hiring someone to help me in the shop? Who's gonna help me get to that next level? Maybe you need to ask yourself that question. And like I said, if y'all have any questions, y'all can reach out to me on Instagram. I will reply. Also, if you go to the link tree, you'll see that I offer a free webinar on our Zoom. And basically all you do is you sign up. Next time we have a free we usually have them every week. I usually have them on Mondays, and we started having them on Saturdays. I will send a notification so you get the update, or you get the reminder, and you can definitely join in. All right, guys. So next time